What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Dusty, the Airstream trailer renovation restoration. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the insulation of the interior of Dusty. Now, I decided to utilize what's considered R21 reflective insulation, and that insulation comes in 1/4-inch thickness. There are a variety of sizes. I decided to use 16-inch and 24-inch widths, and they actually come in 100-foot rolls. Obviously, they do come in shorter lengths, but I decided to go with a 100-foot roll because I needed quite a few of these rolls. I believe I ordered approximately 3 or 4 of these 16-inch rolls and about 4 of the 24-inch rolls. Now, the way it works is I'm going to utilize 5 full layers of this, and the way that works is the first layer starts off by cutting 4-inch by 4-inch squares and gluing them to the actual panels, as you can see here. That second layer would then come over here to be added, a full layer of insulation, and then the third layer would then come back on top of it, gluing more of these squares on top of that first full layer of insulation, making it the third layer of those squares, if you're following along. From there, after that third layer, or the secondary of these second squares on top of this, I would then add 2 full layers of insulation, making that 4 and 5. And at that point, we get this final product right here. Of those 5 layers, it will then leave the last 1/4-inch gap, which is going to be that last air gap ahead of the installation of the interior panels. And of course, wherever the wiring lands, we would then go ahead and run it through the actual insulation, making everything nice and flush, nice and perfect ahead of installing those interior panels. So got a ton of things to utilize. Obviously, we're utilizing the 3M Super 77 glue to help install these squares here, as well as foil tape, which is right over there. So without further ado, it's pretty well self-explanatory. It's just really gluing squares, cutting to the size of each individual, in between each individual frame to the size that it needs to be, just fitting it, gluing it, and utilizing the foil tape to put everything into place. So like as always, I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to time lapse. We're going to get this work started, race to the finish line to wrap up this pretty quick video for the installation ahead of us installing the interior panels. So here we go. Now, as we're insulating and we're getting to the spots of electrical, obviously I'm just drilling holes through the insulation before install to pull the electrical. Once we get the panels up and in place, I will then use some hole saws to cut out holes for the various things that I need, whether it's just pulling wire for the outlets or if it's actually installing any of the LED lights. We'll be pulling probably like a 4-inch hole saw for those LED lights. All right, now that we've got a little bit into the installation of insulation, you can see that the way I've been utilizing this system is just measuring in between each overall lengths and then just going and cutting that out, fitting it in, still utilizing that layer system, and then taping if need be. What I mean by that is if the sections are too wide where I have to fit 2 pieces in, I would then fit one large piece here, a smaller piece here on that first layer, then the large piece on this side, the smaller, then the large, as you can see here with the smaller, so that it's going back and forth and you're not just having the layers in the same place. As well as in these sections where they're going over windows, I would run the layers over here and then just cut the excess off, as you can see through here. So we'll go ahead and continue on with the insulation and finish this up. Once we get to the end caps, we'll then use a purple foam block back here. Now that we've got all the electrical ran, kind of explaining a little bit now that it's all installed in uniform, ready for the rest of the insulation and interior panels. These 2 cables over here are specific for the solar on the roof. These 2 wires are for the solar connection for the compartment hatch. If you've been following my Instagram page, talking a lot about that. As well as the 7-pin wire that goes throughout all of the lights to the back and front of the trailer. We also have some wires up here. This is going to the brakes, as well as to the electric hitch, as well as to the breakaway switch. And then of course this is the 7-pin that comes in, and that's what that junction box looks like right now. We're definitely going to clean all this up once we get the panels on, and then we will install this from there. Now with the other side, it's a little bit more of a rat's nest right now. It's still getting cleaned up, but most of the 110 wire is down here. That'll be stripped back once we get the insulation in, as well as the interior panels. This is all of the rat's nest of 12 volt. Good thing is it does have rhyme and reason to it. Everything's been taped accordingly, numbered, so I know how to pull that. It's just about getting these wires to come out a little bit cleaner so that when they're ready to come out of interior through the interior panels, this is a lot nicer for the hookup of the panel boxes. And of course, last but not least, we have obviously the radio cable that goes out to the front of the trailer for the antenna. All of the speaker wires so that we can hook up that radio, and that will be for the internal radio. And just like that, finally, the insulation project for Dusty is officially complete. Now, I will tell you, this part of the project has probably been the most humbling part of this project. Something I thought I was just going to breeze through, real simple, real quickly. And as soon as I got into it, I realized that was the complete opposite of the case. Reason being is, as you look at this, each one of these don't fit specifically. What's white here is different white over here, and so each one has to be cut out specifically for those sections. And the hardest part of that, if you guys remember, was doing the 4-inch squares as the first layer, a full layer on top of that with squares on top of it, followed by 2 full layers on top of that. So cutting each one of those each time for each one of these sections, as you can see, well, it takes a lot of time. You gotta be very meticulous, lots of patience, which isn't always on the best side of me at times, but needless to say, this project is officially complete. So with that, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna head over to the next video, which is gonna be the actual installation of the interior panels, step by step, and how we're gonna go through that, all brand new from the ground up. So with that, if you haven't already, go down, hit the like to this video, subscribe to this channel, share it with your family and friends, and as always, until next time, this is Danny signing out.